What's going on, everybody? Tamra Judge is apologizing after last week. We have Liam Payne. The autopsy has been revealed. There were multiple substances found in his system. We also have Rachel Leviss, who is dating a really smart rocket scientist. So let's dive in, shall we? You're listening to No Filter with Zack Peter, your go-to source for all the latest pop culture and reality TV tea, served fresh all week long. Now, let's dive in. What's going on, everybody? Welcome on in. How are you? I hope you had a great weekend. Yeah, I did my dry try regionals. So if you are familiar with Orange Theory, they have their dry try competition that they do at the individual studios, and then the best of the best get to compete against each other in regionals. So I got to go to regionals and represent the South Park downtown location. It's funny. South Park is like a section of downtown. It's like a quiet little community in downtown. We're like a secret little community. It's like it's very quiet. It's very clean. Everybody has like their dogs and their babies, and they're just like walking around with strollers and dogs on leashes. It's the neighborhood of downtown. But it's funny because there are two downtown locations. There's there's Orange Theory downtown, and then there's Orange Theory South Park. And one of my neighbors was like, it's so South Park to have their own South Park location that's not downtown. That's not called the downtown location, but it's called its own South Park location. So, yeah, just thought that was funny. So I got to represent South Park, not necessarily downtown. But I went to regionals. I came in third. Third is not first. I came in third, but it's fine because there were two other guys that were beasts. I was competing on the opposite side of them, so I couldn't see, I was trying to keep up with their time, because obviously you have to do a 2,000-meter row, 300 body weight reps, and then run a 5K and try to be the first to finish that. I'm proud to say that I finished it in 34 minutes and 7 seconds. 34 minutes is pretty impressive time. I think the best ever is like 31 minutes. So I'm not far off. There were a lot of people that finished like after the 40-minute mark. I'm proud to say I came in third. I was shortly behind, but there was this little goblin in this blue t-shirt, in this blue tank top, and that little goblin was fast. He was real fast. But listen, at regionals, I mean, in South Park, I came in first. Thank you very much. But in regionals, I came in third. And listen, I'm proud that I even came in third. Like the fact that I, could even be considered in the top 5 of the best in LA. I'm very proud of that. But that little goblin was fast. I saw him and he was just like zipping all around. And he had a smarter strategy. Like the stations that he picked, the number that he picked, it was very smart. I was not smart about the station because I wasn't familiar with that specific studio. I had been there once before, but I wasn't like super familiar. But anyway, then I picked station 8, and so I was literally running back and forth trying to get from like the tread to the weight station to the rower. Like it was not the smartest but I learned. But listen, I was right in there. It's right in there. First place, I think he hit like he was close to 33, but he hit like 32 something. And then second place was like 33 something. So I was in less than 90 seconds. Had I been next to them and had I been able to see what they were running at and like what their numbers were, I would have been able to probably beat them because I think it was like a 0.2 difference that he was running ahead of me at. Had I been able to see what their speeds were, I'm confident I could have towed it up. But now I know for next time. I'm coming for that number 1. That's a bronze. You should be proud. I mean, it's not first. So I like to win. I'm very proud of myself. But listen, I have to give it to the goblin. He was little, but he was mighty. He was like a little road runner. He's like, not that I'm not fast. I'm also very fast. Especially the guy next to me afterwards. After he finished his and was dying afterwards, he's like, wow, so how does it feel to be the fastest person in the world? I was like, well, I came in third, but thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, it's okay. That little goblin, I'm coming for him next time. I am. Okay. That said, we'll get into the tea in a sec. You don't have to it's Monday morning. We have to do Monday morning announcements. Um, but that said, there may not be a Tuesday episode this week. As I shared with you guys, my grandfather passed away. So the services start tonight. The funeral is tomorrow morning. So I will be doing that. Um, yeah, the whole, like, funeral like, the grieving process, the losing of a loved one process, it's not a fun process. I know I've been, like, holding it together pretty well and, like, smiling through a lot of it. It's been challenging. It's been very challenging. But, yeah, I will be taking some time to be with my family, um, to celebrate and honor my grandfather's life. Um, I grew up with him, lived with him until I was 17. So yeah, I'm just letting everybody know they're probably most likely I was gonna tape a Tuesday episode tonight, and then I realized, oh, because we're Catholic, that we have the rosary and the viewing tonight, and then tomorrow's the actual like mass. So yes. I probably won't be able to have time, and I don't know what we're doing with the pop report yet. There may be a fill-in for me on the pop report, at least for this first episode, or it just maybe a little later. We may end up taping it on Wednesday morning. I'm not sure yet, but stay tuned. This week is just a challenging scheduling week, but have no fear. All will be good. But I will be back. Everything we'll get back on track come Wednesday. I just need, to mentally and emotionally prepare myself for tonight. Um, yeah. Joe says, if I were there, I'd offer my heart rendering singing at the services for free. Oh, well, thank you, Joe. I'm so sad you're not here. Cassie says traditional Catholic funerals are long. Thank you, Cassie. They're not that long, are they? I mean, we have the rosary is really long. Like the rosary is really long. Because you have to like pray all the little beads. That's a long process. So tonight will probably be long. Um, and then tomorrow is the mass, and then I'm assuming like I'm speaking tomorrow, but like I'm assuming like there's like you have the mass and you do pray and send love and do the sign of the cross, and then afterwards like people get to honor him. So that'll probably also be about 2 hours. Diane says the worst part about being Catholic is the funeral. Well, Diane, I wouldn't say that funerals are generally like the better part of life, but thank you for sharing, Diane. I appreciate the compassion in that. Oh man. Christy says I'm watching this crying, missing my dad, and then you just said that. Which part about the funeral being the worst? Well, I'm sorry. I'm sending you love, Christy. Listen, I'm grieving with you. I know I don't show it as much as or the same way that other people do. I make jokes and I uncomfortably laugh at things that I shouldn't laugh at. But thank you guys for the love and for the patience with all the unsteady scheduling the past couple of weeks. Laura says, I need all the good vibes. I have 2 swollen nodes and an emergency oncologist appointment tomorrow. I think I am still good, but in case, well, we're going to send you love, Lori. Thank you. Thank you guys. Okay. Let's see. What should we dive into first? Should we do Tamara or Liam? Let's start with Tamara, right? So Tamra Judge went on her podcast, Two Teas in a Pod, or as Vicky Gumbelson calls it, Two Teas in a Teapot. And she addressed the on the spectrum diagnosis and said that she's really sorry. She's trying to take time for her mental health. She's prioritizing her mental health. Her and Teddy address it. I thought that it was a very, I thought that it was a very well, like, I know I had some issue with the statement that she posted on Instagram and that she released to people, and I was like critical of Dave Quinn and like all of that still stands. But I like that she did this episode where we see her being vulnerable. We hear the emotion in her that like she's truly genuinely sorry and understands why she should have not run with the on the spectrum diagnosis because she doesn't have an on the spectrum diagnosis. And she didn't say, I think I have autism or I think I'm on the spectrum. She said, I just found out I'm on the spectrum. And then she got choked up. So, you know, It I didn't love that. Obviously, I had a lot to say about that. I went to dinner over the weekend with Trish, who is a Zack Pack member, always here in the live chat. Um, she came to LA, and so we went out. We went to Mastro's, and we had martinis and steak, and it was a very lovely meal, and I was loved that I got to chat with her. But she was also just like, you're being a little hard on Tamra. I get it, you're grieving." And hearing her say it out loud to me, I like, it resonated because I was like, "Wow, I didn't even realize, that I had been channeling my grief in different." I mean, even, there's someone on my team that I've been talking to you guys with, and I've been raging at him all of last week. I've been Shannon Bedoring him. I mean, listen, granted, he's pissed me off a lot, but, like, I'm like, "Okay, I need to learn how to, channel my grief in a healthier way." That's why I did, like, dry try, and I, like, ran really fast so that I can process it there. But, um but yeah, so I know I came at Tamara a bit hard. I was talking to her behind the scenes the entire time, and so I was grateful that she gave me a shout out in the podcast episode, and, she was really grateful that I'd reached out to her, and, like, I wanted to reach out to her because I realized, like, a lot of people were gonna be ripping her apart, and I wanted to be clear, like, "Listen, I get it. People are ripping you apart, kind of, I don't wanna say rightfully so, but I kinda get where they're coming from. But on top of that, I want you to know that, like, I this is why this hurts me. This is why I think it's insulting to my family. But at the same time, I also know that you have an opportunity to learn and grow and make this right." And so, from what I heard on her podcast, she very much was trying to, acknowledge that maybe she spoke too soon. Acknowledge that maybe that's something that she may consider is exploring an on the spectrum diagnosis, but that, you know, we'll see where it happens. I'm just glad that she's prioritizing her mental health. She's, putting herself first. It was, and so much love to Tamara, but it was funny because Vicky Gunvalson on her podcast, what is it? Friend, my soulmate, my podcast with Christian Gray Snow. Sorry, I had to switch out my Invisalign over the weekend a little early, so I'm adjusting to talking. Um, but so Christian Gray Snow opens it up by saying, like, "Listen, if you come or if you're coming here to hear us get like crazy, crazy and talk mad smack about Tamara, that's not what this episode is about. We're here to like show respect and know that this is a serious issue and blah blah blah." And then Vicky's like, "Okay, my turn." Then Vicky starts talking and she just like rips Tamara to shreds. And I was like, I love how he's like, "Just letting you guys know that like if you came here to hear us trash Tamara, that's not what we're gonna do." And then Vicky's like, "Okay, cute, give me the mic now. All right, now let me trash Tamara." I just thought it was funny. So, well, Janelle, Mallory says, when were the producers and editors listening to the episode before they released it? They also had it titled "The New and Improved Tamra." A lot of ignorance on that pod. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree. The episode title did not do anybody any favors. Um, so yeah. Nancy Jackson says, "Zach, you were not too hard on Tamara. She's a grown woman and should slow her talk. Think, Tamara, think." I agree. Like, just think before you do things and you say, but listen, that's where I was like, listen, like Tamara, we're a lot alike. We have a lot of fire in us. We bring the heat, you know. There's a lot of that in us. So I can see you, I can relate to you, I can have empathy for you. But also, sometimes when you put your foot in your mouth. You just gotta own it and move forward with it. So, yeah. Tiffany says, "I don't think that you were being too hard on her. I thought that you were very empathetic." I was trying to be. Listen, I know that there's a bit of a balance, but so I'm just glad that she's taken accountability, she's apologized, and that we can move on from it, and that we can move forward from it. Um, but so yeah. Well, Janelle. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Um, let's talk about Rachel Levis and Liam Payne. But first, I wanted to give some love to my pals at Mochi Health. Mochi is a telehealth platform that connects patients seeking medication based weight loss treatment with board certified doctors and dietitians to help them determine the best treatment options to accomplish that goal. Their program is completely virtual, meaning you can access their services anywhere in the US and you'll be meeting with their team online. You deserve doctors that listen, and they're dedicated to providing holistic, patient centered care that prioritizes overall well being with the goal of transforming how weight management is approached. Okay. So, Mochi Health, give them a try. Mochi Health takes a holistic approach to weight loss that includes visits with board certified doctors, nutrition consultations, and medication delivered to your door. It's science backed medications, including GLP 1s like Ozempic. So if you're curious about Ozempic and you've been on you've seen the Ozempic craze in especially Real Housewives land, this is your chance to give it a try and see if it's right for you. It's affordable and accessible regardless of insurance coverage. With Mochi, their dietitians work hand in hand with your medications to create personalized nutrition plans that fit your lifestyle. Reach your weight loss goals with science backed, FDA approved GLP-1 medications, support from real doctors, and guidance from registered dietitians. Help with making and help with making easy and sustainable changes to achieve the results that you want. You can get started today at joinmochi.com. That's joinmochi, MOCHI, joinmochi.com. Use code NOFILTER to receive $40 off. That's code NOFILTER for $40 off. All right. Back to the show. Um, that said, let's talk about we talked about Tamara. Let's talk about Liam Payne and Rachel or yeah. Let's talk about Rachel Levis first, actually. So this is really funny because Rachel Levis, a report has come out, right? She hasn't actually commented on this, at least not on the record. On the record, she's not had a comment to give, but who knows about off the record? This week's episode of Rachel Levis's life is called Rachel Dates a Scientist. So it's funny. Page six, I guess people initially ran with the story, but page six published the headline Vanderpump Rules alum Rachel Levis dating really smart rocket scientist. So they had to specify that the rocket scientist that she's dating is really smart. That's why I'm like, did Rachel give you this exclusive like off the record? He's really smart, you guys. Like he's like really smart. He's really handsome. He just doesn't have any good pictures of on Instagram. Hold on, let me find a good photo of him. You know, when your friend says that, they're like, let me find a good photo of him. It's like, well, if you have to find a good photo, then are they really that good looking? If you have to define that the rocket scientist is really smart, is he really though? Joe says, "Oh, so she's still continuing with the podcast, but just won't talk about pump." No, she's done with the podcast. The podcast is done. The podcast is over. Um, I was just saying, in the life of Rachel, it's a new episode. What was the last episode? Episode 67, and now it's like the unofficial episode 68 because the podcast is done. So she announced that the podcast is over. But so apparently they met through mutual friends and they just hit it off. And like I just want to know what mutual friends are friends with a rocket scientist and friends with Rachel Levis. I feel like it's that Nobody Wants This show on Netflix with Kristen Bell and Adam Brody. And like you have the friend that's like a publicist and she's friends with the hot mess podcaster and then she's friends with the rabbi and then it's an unexpected mix. What's Rachel's publicist going to do now? I don't know. Mallory says Rachel Does Science is the new podcast. Rachel Does Science. Are you sure Juliet is not going to keep it going? I don't know. Juliet might want to keep it going. She loved doing that when she had that solo episode without Rachel. I was like, Rachel goes rogue, but Rachel ain't even here. I was like, she went real rogue and her publicist took over. Laura says maybe making rocket pops ice cream things. Maybe there's a little confusion. Oh, interesting. Rachel will help build rockets now. Wow. Rockets for the mistresses, missiles for mistresses. Holla and she'll do peace signs at the I just want to know like where, but like also are we using the term rocket scientist like too loosely? Like what defines a rocket scientist? Rocket, like, let's see like what because it sounds really smart, but then you know he doesn't even have he doesn't even have social media and he's not into social media according to page six. He's an incredible guy. He's really smart and kind and down to earth and most importantly, disinterested in social media. A rocket scientist is a specialist in rocketry. Hmm. Or also known or informally used as an extremely intelligent person. He's a nice kid. Maybe not a rocket scientist, but he should come out okay. Wow. Okay. So that's how we use that in a sentence. But anyway, the real definition is a person that specializes in rocketry. And rocketry is defined as the branch of science that deals with rockets and rocket propulsion. Okay. Interesting. And rockets are the ships that we send into space, right? A rocket, it's a cylindrical projectile that can be propelled to a great height or distance by the combustion of contents, used typically as a firework or a signal. Baby, you're a fine. He's probably like, I'm a rocket scientist. And then he's like, we lift rockets off the ground with fireworks. And then Rachel's probably like, oh, I know that song, Baby, you're a fire. You work. Come on, let your colors burn. Do you ever feel like a plastic bag drifting through the night? Oh, oh, oh. Mallory says, I could for real see Rachel getting Rocket Money and Rocket Science mixed up. Rocket Money. What was that? Rocket Boy? There was a show. There was Rocket something on Nickelodeon. What was the name of the show? Rocket Power. Oh, Rachel's Power. That was my favorite show growing up. Mm. Many so-called work for NASA and Elon Musk's team. Oh, listen, I'm not discounting. I'm sure he's very smart. Funny might be what she needs, someone who understands her. Yeah, I mean, funny guys are great. I feel like, smart guys are a little I almost said smart guys are a little autistic, just in the social sense is what I mean. But the smart they just, don't always have social skills. Lori says, I mean, I put Mentos in soda once. That's wild when people do that and then it like shoots up. That's wild. Well, I mean, that is a cylinder like shaped object. And if you do it right, it could shoot up to high lengths and distances through a firework like motion. You know what, Lori? I can see that. I can see that for you. Is Rachel's new Miss USA talent riding a rocket ship on stage with a baby giraffe legs? No, the giraffe is Bethany, remember? Bethany said she was a giraffe. Rachel needs to date Leo from Love is Blind. I haven't seen the new season of Love is Blind. What do you think they talk about? I don't know. Like, what did they bond over? Like, that's what I want to know. Like, here's the thing. I would never date a rocket scientist. We wouldn't have anything to talk about. What am I going to teach him about? How to ride a rocket? I can teach him that. But I feel like we're talking about different rockets. But at the same time, like, I don't know. Joe says, as a smart person, I could be awkward meeting people for the first time. It takes a while for me to warm up. Yeah, you just need to do a few jumping jacks to warm up. I don't know. Kat says, "Smart guys are so hot to me. That's my kink." Smart guys? I mean, it depends. Well, because some of them are really dumb, right? They're smart, but like they're really like they know about rockets, but like don't really know anything about housewives or life. You know, geeks do get the girls. Stay in school, kids. Are we? Are Okay, so we're going with the premise that she's a prize. Listen, very beautiful girl, right? Nothing against her looks. She just her moral compass and her choices have been a bit questionable and like continue to be a bit questionable. So like I don't know if that's like he's like winning with that. I do want to like listen. Tom Sandoval made sense for her, right? They would do shrooms together. They would look up at the stars and just be like, wow. But like I just don't see what the 2 of them have in common, you know? Like, or like what like somebody asked, what would they talk about? I don't know. What would they talk about? Mallory says Rachel is a perpetual victim by her own doing. Okay, thank you. Thank you. That's kind of the point that I was trying to make. Like, Maybe he can fix her moral compass. Why? By giving her a good rocket riding? He's gonna knock some sense into her. Shrooms and Coors Light, get it right. Okay, sorry, shrooms and Coors Light. Sorry, after oh, yeah, no. After dry try, they tried to give me they had extra Coronas, and I was like, "Ooh, I kinda like this vibe." And I almost grabbed one, but I don't really drink beer, but I was like, "Ooh, I kind of like this vibe." Ah, dated a rocket okay, Sue says she dated a rocket scientist years ago, and he turned out to be boring, but very sensuous. Huh. Yeah, they're usually boring. Like, they're just very that's why I use the term loosely as, like, a little autistic, socially awkward, they like their routines, I just they have, like, a schedule, they're very neat. Um, yeah. Cass said, "I'd much rather date a blue collar man." I mean, that's who you want if you really wanna get dick down, right? A blue collar man, like, there's just something, the ruggedness will really get ya, you know? Luciana says, "Has there been any updates on her lawsuit?" No. Her hearing is not until November of 2025, so we've got at least a year-ish until we see what happens next, but it didn't get dismissed, it is moving forward. They may come to some sort of settlement agreement. Who knows? Who knows? But that's the latest update on her lawsuit. Okay, let's talk about Liam Payne. David said, "Are you actually for real? Like a real person?" Me? Am I actually for real? I am. Look at see, I'm knocking on my noggin. I'm absolutely for real, tits and all. There's nothing plastic about me. I'm 1000% a real person. I am not AI. Or ow, that knocking on my head did hurt a little bit. I knocked a little too hard. Um, Zach is AI. I'm AI. Heather Ann says, I kind of assume the most rocket scientists are really smart. Is there such a thing as a dumb rocket? Yeah, that's why I thought the headline that Page Six ran with was really funny because I kind of was like, well, if he's a rocket scientist, why do we need to specify that he's really smart? You know, they might be rocket smart, but maybe not life smart. Yeah. David West says, you are AI as fuck. Yeah, I am. Yes, I am. Am I? Like, what gives you the impression that I'm AI? Because I talk like a robot. Glitch, glitch. I almost said something shady, but I'm trying to be a better person and like not always be shady. Uh, yeah, everything about me is real, even my teeth. Deep fake. Yeah, probably. Michelle says, coming from someone who doesn't know the difference between your and your. Wow. Cassie says, I could never see Zach as AI. He's too unfiltered. Yeah, I break too many rules and I get in trouble too much to be AI. Thank you. I, yeah, I think. Let's see how long that lasts, especially since you have your mask coming out. Oh, yeah, I have to be good because you're too perfect looking. I don't think I'm perfect looking. Zach is homed and toothed. Yes, I am. And my teeth are real. These are my teeth. They're not fake. Hey, even not smart people deserve happiness and companionship. I don't disagree. Kat says, my husband said, as soon as it's available, we're getting a Tesla robot. No, the hell we are. No, we are not. We are not getting a Tesla robot. Why do you want a Tesla? Have we not seen the movies? The robots always kill everybody. Sorry, now I'm gonna get shut down because the AI is gonna read that and think I'm anti-robot. Listen, I've seen all the robot movies. We know what happens in the robot movies. The robots come for you, you know? I don't know. Jeanette says a lot of humans are AI probably walk past one today. Really? Really? We think there are that many AI robots out there? I don't want one, but he's got the money in this marriage. Well, See, I don't need a rocket scientist. I just need a man with money. I'm happy. They say money can't buy you happiness, and I say it can't hurt, right? It can't hurt. All those big unmarked buildings in your metro, that's AI development. Unmarked buildings in your major metro. Say what? What unmarked buildings in my major metro? I don't understand. That's an AI development. I don't understand. Electric cars can catch on fire from salt water. Well, lovely. Thank you for the fun. Well, Janelle. Mallory says next review. Zach is so anti-robot. He hates the robots. I thought he was a robot ally, and now I'm unsubscribed. Exactly. Actually, speaking of that, you guys were very generous and flooded with sweet um with very sweet reviews, which I really appreciate and believe are all real because remember I told you that person on my team was like, "You've got negative reviews and you're not very brand safe lately." And I was like, "Well, guys, if you're enjoying the show, please leave it a nice review and subscribe, you know?" And then you guys went and you left me so many nice reviews. And so what I did, because I'm petty, is I screenshotted every single review and then I sent them to him in our group thread so everyone could see it. And I sent them as individual text messages. 1 review, 2 review, 3 review, 4 review, 5 review, 6 review, 7 review, 8 review. Like I sent them all one by one individual text messages. And then he's like, "Well, these look farmed." And I was like, "Bitch, get off my team. Like I can't with you. Not today, Satan. Not today." Okay. Let's move on. He's a petty ass bitch. I am. And then my manager texts me separately and he's like, the level of sass in the group thread this morning, because it was like 6:30 in the morning on like Saturday. And my manager texts me separately. He's like, LOL, the level of sass that I just know is coming through in those text messages from this morning. I was like, yep, that's right. That's right. So you should have sent them at 3 a.m. I was asleep at 3 a.m. But anyway, Liam Payne. This is wild. Okay, so Liam Payne, the autopsy has now been, or a partial autopsy has now been revealed about One Direction member Liam. And it was really sad. Last week we got the news of his passing away. He was in Buenos Aires. He was on, is it the third floor or the fourth floor? I was reading the third floor, but then I heard somebody say the fourth floor. So whether it was level 3 or level 4, he was staying in his hotel room. He ended up falling from his balcony, passed away. It was confirmed by TMZ. There was a lot of controversy because TMZ had released partial photos of, or photos of the body, partial, but like not the full, just like showing his tattoos to verify that like this was him. And even I said, I was like, I have questions. Like, this is kind of weird. The 911 call seemed a little fishy to me because I'm like, the staff is already calling 911 and saying, hey, we need police to get down here because there's a man and he's very erratic and he has a balcony in his room and we're afraid he's going to fall off the balcony. And the next thing you know, he falls off the balcony. And I was like, that um, sounds a little fishy, right? It's a little fishy. But identifying markings, yes, tattoos. Tina says, "Dang, Zach, you are looking so hot. I love that. Oh, thank you. What look am I pulling that's a little different? Look, I'm into a little. This is just for Tina. Look at that. Oh, look at that. Double up. Thank you, Tina. It's all AI. My body, my face, my teeth, everything. My hair is all AI. Just so you know, FYI. The live chat cracked the code. I've been exposed. I've been exposed. But so yeah. TMZ released photos of his body showing his arms with his tattoos. Yeah, which to me, I was still like, ugh, it was a little off-putting. 'Cause I was just like, it's his body, and like, RESPECT. Find out what it means to me. Apparently, not very much to TMZ. So yeah, but so the autopsy revealed that he had multiple substances in his system at the time of his passing, including cocaine, crack, and benzos. Um, they were all in his body when he fell. off of his hotel balcony in Buenos Aires. He passed away on October 16th, and he was there to see Niall Horan's show on the 2nd. That's why he went to Argentina originally, but then apparently he stayed there for 2 weeks. But he was Liddy City. Well, I mean, yeah, he was Liddy City. I mean, that's more than Liddy City. So the test also found pink cocaine in his system, which is typically I'm not even entirely sure the difference between cocaine and crack. I just know crack is whack. One of them's whack and one of them's not as whack. I'm not entirely sure. However, um, that's a lot like well, that's also kind of crazy, right? The benzos are depressants. So that's like to, numb you, but then you have the cocaine and the crack, which are uppers. So yeah, and then there's the pink cocaine. Unclear if that was I'm assuming that's part of the cocaine that they found in his system. But so the pink cocaine, it's described as a recreational drug that typically mixes meth, ketamine, MDMA, and others. So it's laced. Um, is that is that how you would say that? Laced cocaine? Um, I mean, it's pink. I mean, come on, meth, ketamine, and MDMA. MDMA is Molly, right? That's like the feel good hydra. Like that's all sorts of stuff. Like that concoction alone, that cocktail alone. Like this is like a Lisa Rinna, baggie full of pills that he was on. Joe says, I thought pink Coke is just pink colored Coke. Nope. It's laced with all these other, it's like a potpourri. Yeah, MDMA is Molly. Yeah, that's what I thought. Mm. No cocaine, but it's powder form laced with MDMA. Yeah. Holy crap, that sounds like that so 2000s. Is it? All of these at once though? I mean, sheesh, meth, ketamine, MDMA, coke, benzos, crack. Like that's just like one big, you know, potluck. And you're just like, let me have some sushi with some mashed potatoes and maybe a little mac and cheese. And you know what? Why not have a slice of pizza while we're at it? Sounds like he was super balling. That's when you mix uppers with downers, and it's very dangerous. I would also imagine there was alcohol in his system, right? Like, I don't think it was just the drugs. That is a trauma drug fest. Yeah, he's running from something, right? Like there was something that he was not able to. I don't think it's all related because people are like, oh, well, the ex said that she sent him a cease and desist, which to me, I'm like, but that's not enough to make somebody go on a full on bender. Like a cease and desist, it's almost insignificant. It really doesn't mean much. Damn, speedballing is what it's called here. Yeah. Um. Yeah. That's just. I mean, it's sad. He was so young. He's 31. He has a 7-year-old son. Like to me, it's just sad. Nobody parties like that unless they hate them. Yeah, I know. I agree. I agree. I wonder if everything coming at once was too much. But what was coming at that's I'm not familiar with One Direction, so I don't follow them all that much. Um, I know that some of the guys were kind of on the outs, but like what else was going on? I mean, were there more legal issues with his ex? It was his ex-fiance, who he shares the son with. That Diddy case, you learn too much. Oh, you think it's Diddy related? I don't know. Lori says, anybody crazy enough to still want to be freaking famous? Yes, me. It's funny. I was talking to, okay, so here's like a little insider team. Was the family involved with any of the photos or information released? I don't know. I mean, listen, it's all technically public record, so I don't know. Um, oh wait, TMZ was reporting on this too. It was the third floor balcony. Okay. I'm sorry. I got confused because in last week's episode of the Pop Report, Andy said the fourth floor. And I was like, wait, was there a fourth floor? I'm like, well, Andy usually has his shit together more than I do. So, but it's to confirm it was the third floor. Um, which does kind of make me think like, okay, well, maybe he fell, like maybe he did trip, but like it's also kind of weird because like if you're that like out of it, Like, maybe he did kind of walk to the but, like, I don't know. It's very confusing. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about because like, you would think if you're gonna pass out, like, you pass out on the floor, you don't pass out and fall over a balcony. I don't know, but yeah. Okay, so they also found, a bottle of alcohol as well as prescription meds, namely anti-anxiety meds. Okay, so those are, I'm assuming, the benzos. Um They're reporting that it was a pigsty. They have different photos of the different drugs in his system. Tests appear to back up what the cops originally said that the drugs in his system may, in fact, may play a factor in a possible suicide. So they're not ruling out suicide altogether. Because remember, the report was that he was unconscious at the time that he fell. So maybe they're thinking that it was like he was trying to overdose and that was the suicide part. And he ended up just like falling off. I don't know. Or maybe he was like intentionally trying to, I don't know. But they did say that by the time his body hit the ground, he was completely unconscious or at least partially unconscious. So it's possible he tried to jump into the pool from his balcony, too stoned to realize he couldn't. It was near the pool. I don't know. His addiction issues began in 2015. It's been a long road. Oh, I don't know. It's just sad, you know? I read his record label dropped him. Maybe. I mean, his music wasn't really landing. I mean, I feel like they've all kind of struggled musically outside of I think Harry Styles is probably the one that's had the most musical success. I was surprised that Neil Horan was even doing shows in Argentina. I was like, what music does he have? Wasn't he also having outbursts in the yeah, he had outbursts in the lobby. He wasn't letting the hotel staff in to clean his room. Like he was just in a really fragile state, it appears. But yeah. I believe it was either accidental or intentional. Maybe it was accidental. I don't know, but there are so many substances in his system that it's like, how do you think you're gonna survive after all of that? I don't know. There's no way you accidentally are like, let me do a little bit of this and a little bit of that and a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Like you doing crack and pink cocaine? Like that's do you need both? And you're taking benzos and there's alcohol in the room. So I'm assuming maybe alcohol was in his system at the time. The fact that the hotel staff had called 911 reporting that they were worried about him in his room, specifically, they were worried about him in the balcony. That's the part that's the most questionable. And the number of photos that have leaked into the press, right? Like this information got out very quickly. We had photos verifying that it was him, close up photos of his body. Um, Photos of him in the hallway. We had the report about him in the lobby. So, and all of this was immediately available to TMZ. So, which tells me there were staff members that were talking to TMZ, and they're the ones that probably tipped this off and leaked this, considering the photos were on TMZ of the body. And then the phone call. The phone call just to me reads fishy, you know? You're like, "Hey, I'm here to report, what I think is about to happen." And then next thing you know, that happens exactly. It's just fishy. I'm sure he's been mixing substances for a long time. Yeah, but that number of stuff, like that's just like a whole cocktail that like you don't really like that just completely like takes you into a different world, you would imagine, because it's like it's a number like, you have benzos, which are downers, and then you have the molly, which is in the cocaine, which are uppers, and also the feel-good drugs, and then you have crack, and again, I don't know the difference between crack and cocaine other than one of them's whack, but, like and then you have what else was laced in there? Um, Meth and ketamine. I mean, ketamine, another downer. That's kinda crazy. Like, that combo alone, the ketamine and the cocaine is wild. You don't care after a few years. My brother, who is an addict, told me that. I guess at that point, you're like, if I go, I go. I just don't want to be here. I don't want to be present. I mean, I guess, yeah. You think about it, like, you don't want to be present in reality. So escaping, it doesn't matter how far you escape. And if anything, there's probably some sort of like sick thrill in like getting close. It's sad. Why wasn't hotel security in Liam's room with him as they called 911? He apparently wasn't letting them into the room. Um, I don't know. I honestly don't know. Our poor brains can't handle the depletion of dopamine and other chemicals. Yeah, it's awful. Um, yeah, but it is wild. I know somebody made a comment about like, why would anybody want to be famous after this? I was like, wait, me. And I was having a conversation with someone over the weekend. Um, another creator who was telling me that there was a third creator. We'll name okay, let's give them fake names. That way we can stay, focused on the course. Um, so creator one will name this person Joanne, and then creator two will name this person Brett. Okay. Brett and Joanne. So Joanne calls me and Joanne's like, "Oh my god, Brett is being dramatic about like some coverage that Brett has gotten." And I was like, "Okay, Joanne." And Joanne's complaining about Brett and the coverage. And then I was just like, "Well, Brett needs to calm down and, like, not be so dramatic because, like, hello, we put our names and our faces and our, like, selves out onto the internet because, like, we like when people talk about us. It, like, gives us some sort of, like, sick threat. It gives us the dopamine, right? I'm like, when people talk about me, I was like, when the press picks me up or, like, features me in the press or, like, people have rumors about me on Reddit, like, yeah, I love that shit. Like, hello. I go, no, everyone wants to be like, don't talk about me. Don't write about me. Don't spread rumors about me. I'm tired of rumors starting. I'm sick of being followed. I'm tired of people lying, saying what they want about me. Don't take pictures of me. Like Eileen Davidson. Don't look at me. Look at me. Don't look at me. Look at me. It's like, come on. Hello. We put ourselves out there because we like the attention. We're addicted to the attention. If no people aren't talking about us, we're not relevant. It is what it is. I'm just the first person willing to say it. That's one of the things I give a lot of respect to Heather McDonald on is she like owns it. She's like, I like being famous. I want to be famous. I want to own it. I want to go to Craig's and leave Craig's and have the paparazzi want to take my picture. She owns it. Own it, baby. Own it. People are like, oh, don't talk about me. Don't talk about me. Oh, I can't. I don't like it. Like, really, then why are you putting yourself out there? Dummy. Um, so yeah. It's like you obviously like and you like to play the victim and like you want to be the person that's like, "Oh, I don't love this. Oh, oh, oh." It's like, "Shut up." Just fucking own it, you know? Harry and Meghan World Privacy Tour. Yeah. Yeah. Eileen kills me. I miss her so much. I know. Beast. How dare you? Tanya says this and so many other reasons why we love you. Listen, I'm just honest. I am who I am. I can't help it. Not the show it's in three. What's in threes? I don't know what that means. Drop in the pearls. Um, Sydney. I made one of you and one about the LGBT and all the letters. What did you make about me and all the LGBT letters? A video? Please make all the videos. Start all the rumors. Like let's get into who did I fuck? Who did I fuck? Chef Stu over the weekend. There you go. There's the rumor. Run with it. Who else did I fuck? Jeff Lewis at the same time, back to back. I went to Sirius Radio, and then afterwards I went to Stu's apartment. Um, I made one about you and the LGBT and all the letters. Um, I did. It was good. Oh, thank you. Thank you. So yeah, not Stu getting the leftover. Listen, with me, there are never leftovers. I'm always a full-time buffet. I'm always a good time. No, I'm not a full-time buffet. I'm good steak dinner with a martini on the side. Mm. What's your favorite 1D song? Oh, maybe what's the one? Maybe Gone Tonight. Dun-dun-dun-dun, is beating wide. That one. I'm in the mood. That one. I like that one, but I think is that Night Changes? I think because everyone's playing it right now, that one's stuck in my head, but I like the You're insecure, don't know what for. The way you look when you walk through the door, with no makeup, no cover up. The way you look makes me wanna throw up. You know, that one. I like that one. Don't forget the seniors and the mistresses, their lives matter. I don't represent the mistresses. Will stand up for the seniors. What is it? Senior species, but I don't represent the mistresses. The night changes is really good. All good, respectful, you have integrity, and you're easy on the eyes, and you promoted your 1,000 other shows. Oh, thank you, I appreciate that. Send it to me. I feel did I see it? Did I forget? Sorry, it's been a long week. You and I are so let's look at the 1D songs. I'll pick well, actually, I do have a rant of the day, that we'll get to. Let's see. One Direction. Let's see, what other ones do I know? The night changes, story of my life. I take her home. We drive all night. I keep her frozen inside. This is the story of my life. And then what makes you beautiful? You're insecure. Don't know what for. Has that girl disappeared or reappeared since she was insulting you and leading to our discussions on the old people? Oh, I haven't heard from her again. What is you and I? Everyone's talking about you and I. I'm sure I know it. I would have to play it. Perfect. The perfect tonight. Right. So yeah. Speaking of um, Miss Nancy came back. Not my mother Nancy, but Miss Nancy in the comments came back. Nancy, the one that sued her daughter for the lottery ticket that claims that she's a victim of Girardi Keys. I posted this very handsome photo of myself, right, on Instagram the other day. I posted it, right? Look at me. So I look so demure and so classy, and I am sitting there in the studio, and I have my mug and my iPad, and I'm reading my notes, right? So nice, right? And I wrote, "Woke up today and remembered who the F I am. Breaking barriers is what I do best," right? Because obviously, oh, I'm sorry, my grandpa died and it's been a really tough year. And I've been stuck in a lot of contract bullshits this year. And my team has been on my neck about, not talking about the heavier topics because it's too controversial. And like, guess what, motherfucker? I've always been controversial. Um, but anyway, long story short, I posted this very handsome photo of myself. And Nancy decided she wanted to troll up in the comments coming out of nowhere. And I'm like, lady, what? Because the caption said, woke up and remembered who the F I am. And so Nancy, 19 hours ago, probably when she was on a bender in the middle of the night, comes in and writes, that had to have been scary. Because I woke up and remembered who I am. She's like, that had to have been scary. I'm like, lady, nobody is talking to you, okay? Put down the boxed wine and, like, chill. Drag Me Down is so good. Oh, the One Direction song, Drag Me Down. Yeah. I don't remember that one, but I'm sure it is. I believe you. Tanya says, "Oh, no, no, no. Your team better not be trying to change." Nobody can ever change me. And if anybody is on my team that tries to change me, clearly they no longer belong on my team. But anyway, so Nancy wrote, "That had to have been scary." And I responded to her. I wasn't going to, but then I did. And I said, "Oh, waking up to my own potential? Absolutely. Grateful every day I don't have a moral compass as flawed as yours." And then Nancy wrote back. And Nancy responded this morning and said, "Anyone who knows me knows that's not true. Spreading lies, especially about a dead firefighter, is wrong. What you're doing is very wrong." I posted a very lovely photo about myself. I said nothing about her husband. I've talked about her husband in the past because her husband sued his own daughter over a lottery ticket. Um, but like, come on. I wasn't even talking about her husband, who's a firefighter. Like, listen, I'm all about the firefighter. Now I'm anti-firefighter. I love the firefighters. I would fuck a few if they would allow me to, but like, I am all about the firefighters. I'm all about the I almost said the armed forces, not the armed forces. You know what I mean? Like the people that serve, our cities, right? Firefighters, police officers, all like the people that keep us safe. Absolutely, I'm going to stand up for them. But like, come on, lady. I wasn't even talking about you and your husband. You came to troll into my comments and then you want to talk your shit, bite your lip, especially the Australian firefighters. Who are they? I haven't seen any Australian firefighters. Mom Unscripted says, "The way you don't know how Led Zeppelin is the way that I don't know One Direction." I'm familiar with a couple of Led Zeppelin songs. Should I wear a One Direction concert shirt? Would that make concert tee? Would that make you feel better? First responders. There you go. Thank you, Laura. I'm all about the first responders. I'm all about it. But Nancy, but I don't get why Nancy needs to run her mouth. She's gonna flap her, or not, she's not flapping her guns. She's running her little fingers. She's gonna give herself more arthritis with that one. I'm just like, why? People love to poke the bear. And then they're like, "Oh my god, look at you. You're growling at me and your claws have come out." Like, ugh. It's like, "Baby, you knew I was a bear. You knew that I was gonna clap at, like, what? You poke the bear and you don't expect me to react?" No. I'm gonna react. I'm not the better person. I'm not the classy person. I'm gonna react and I'm gonna call you out. But, like, how funny that, like, she continues to turn herself into a victim. She's like, "You're talking about my husband who's a dead firefighter." I have nothing against your husband, but I will call, your drama out for being drama and trying to say you're a victim of something that you're not. Also, she's writing a book about his addiction issues. So, like, she wrote a book about him suing his daughter, and then she's writing a follow-up book about his addiction issues. So, I'm like, who's what? And I'm the one that's, come on. Lisa says, "Hey, Zach, I'm sending you prayers. Love you. Love and healing. We will be here when you come back." Thank you, Lisa. Thank you. Liam has a son, and I feel bad for that. I know his son's 7 years old, right? That's sad. He's still a young dad. I mean, 7, he had to have had him in his early 20s. Wanda says, "Nancy should get a life of her own. How does she have all this time on her hands and is still be this interested in you, Zach?" Yeah, the Girardi case, like, we haven't even talked about that. He's awaiting his sentencing. He's been convicted. He was found guilty. Like, my God. Ugh. Tanya said she's a victim of her own bullshit. I agree. And on that note, thank you guys for listening to No Filter with Zach Peter. I love you. I appreciate you. Like I said, I may be kind of off the grid for at least the next like 24-ish hours as we get through tonight's ceremony. We have the rosary and the viewing, and then the funeral and the mass tomorrow. So, oh, Joe says, to correct the narrative, Zach is not a bear. He's more of an otter or a wolf. I like a wolf. I don't really need to be an otter. Um, I'm more of a wolf. And I'll eat your face. So there you go. Tell Nancy you're rooting for her and the senior species. Oh my God, Michelle, that killed me. All right, guys, give me a follow at Just Plain Zach. Follow the podcast at No Filter with Zach, and I will talk to you guys later. I love you. I appreciate you. And yeah, we can all send love to my grandpa today. Um, his honor. Remember. All right. Thank you guys. I love you. I appreciate you as always. Ciao for now. Talk to you later. Latest, skater.